Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Apostle Charlie Reddish from Life Changes Covenant Ministries. And we have a very important, some issues that's going to be dealt with today. Dr. Marion Reddish and her platform guests, they're going to be dealing with some very sensitive issues and some things that people don't feel comfortable dealing with. But in life, you must, we all have problems, we all have difficulties, we all have challenges, and we all have all kind of problems. We have problems, whether you be a believer or unbeliever. It doesn't matter. You have marriage challenges, you have mental challenges, you have different issues that people are challenged with. So they're going to deal with some of these challenges, these issues that we're confronted with, and many are confronted with, but fail to talk about, fail to talk to someone to get them involved in their lives. And sometimes it even leads to people taking their lives and all kind of things like that. And that's not what God wants to happen. So now I introduce to you my lovely wife, Dr. Marion Reddish, and she will introduce to you her panel. God bless you.
Blessings, everyone. Thank you so much for chiming in tonight as we discuss these important issues about overcoming self-esteem issues. And as I'm looking at this on the camera right here, we're still making some adjustments. Frankie, I would like for you to bring that camera in, that lighting in just a little bit closer so the faces can be seen more clearly. We're going live. We need to bring that in a little bit closer so we can see each other. Be very mindful of how we're doing it. So, guys, welcome.
Thank you.
We're so honored to have you here tonight to be part of our first Reinvent Her live talk. Glory to God. So since we're here tonight, we're going to be very candid in our conversations and what we talk about tonight and how we have overcome and still some issues in our life that we're overcoming because we hadn't actually arrived yet. We're still in the process of becoming. And I think as long as there's life in our bodies, guys, there's always going to be something that we always can overcome and get better at and improve. And I think that's what make life so beautiful and make our journey so special. So I'm going to start with this young man. Brandon, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Hi, everybody.
Is your mic on?
Yes, it was. Hi, everybody. I'm Brandon Grant. I'm a member of Life Changing Covenant Ministries. I'm a devoted husband and a loving father.
All right, he's devoted, huh?
And I like to shout out my wife, too, because she helped me prepare, too. I love you, babe.
Okay, well, we're honored to have you here today, sir. And thank you for being so candid, Brandon, because most men do not talk about self-esteem issues. It always seemed to appear to be a woman's issue. But because you chose to be candid to know that all of us have something that we're trying to overcome and get better at and to present ourselves to the world. So I honor you tonight for being here. Okay, Miss Angela, would you like to share something about yourself, please, ma'am?
Good evening. It's an honor to be here. My name is Dr. Angela Brown. I reside right here in the Low Country, born and raised, they call in the country. Married with 4 children and 6.5 grandchildren. One is actually on the way anytime now. And just blessed to be a part of this wonderful Reinvent Her, and to God be the glory.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Angela, for being part of this segment tonight as we share our hearts and open up our spirits and ears of the men and women that are chiming in tonight. So to let them know that they are not alone because we all have something that we're dealing with. And thank you for being part of this panel tonight as we not only impart to the audience, but impart to ourselves and to each other tonight. So I'm so honored that you are here. Thank you for being a part. Well, at this time, I'm going to say, oh, Jesus, y'all, do y'all see how fierce this lady look over here? Queen indeed. She's queening tonight for real, for real. Her name is, you said Patricia, right? What's your middle first name? Pam? Oh, okay, but she normally goes by Elaine McLean, and we're going to allow her to introduce herself, her queenly self tonight. We're so honored to have you. Would you share something about yourself?
I sure will. Thank Dr. Reddish. My name is Pam McLean, and I'm from Calvary AME Church in North Charleston, South Carolina. I'm the proud parent of 4 beautiful children and 10 grandchildren. One just arrived about 2 days ago.
Congratulations.
To God be the glory. Thank you. And I love to read. I love to sing. I love to go shopping.
Me too.
And I also just love some me time, just
Yes.
to meditate to myself and also spend quality time with my family. I am the proud daughter of the Reverend Dr. Edward A. McLean, Jr. I'm the 4th oldest among 9 children, so hey, we love children. To God be the glory. Thank you, Dr.
Well,
Reddish.
thank you, my love, for sharing part of your history with us tonight and all the marvelous things that God is doing in your life and through your family and through what He's doing in each of you guys' life. So we're expecting great things to come up out of you guys. It's only the beginning of what God is doing in your life. You know, some people think that when you reach a certain age in life that your life is over. No, God is always unfolding and always revealing new things concerning you. So I want you to stay in the level of expectancy of more coming and greater things happening in your life. Okay, well, we're going to kind of begin this candid conversation with some amazing people tonight. So I'm going to let's break into this topic, okay? Of course, we all have self-esteem issues, and they all kind of stem from our childhood. Self-esteem issues never happen in our adulthood. It's just something that has spilled over into our childhood, maybe from in the home with your parents, maybe from school, from siblings. You know how we can tease each other and make mockery of and make jokes of each other, and those things can begin to wear on you if you're not careful, and you can begin to own those things as if they really were you, with the names. You know, people calling names, and if you're not careful, you'll take on the name and embrace the name in which you were called. So I'm going to ask you, Brandon, how important is self-esteem to you?
Self-esteem is important because self-esteem dictates how you carry yourself, how you treat yourself, how you interact with others, how you take care of yourself, and what you give off of you is what you give off to others. I think if you have self-esteem issues and you don't really treat yourself well, it's hard for you to treat others.
Oh, absolutely. 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 Well, for me, myself, I have to say I definitely have I'm sure there's things in my life that I'm still struggling to overcome, to get better at again, as I said, to present my best self to the world. Because I can remember being in my younger days having issues. I didn't like my nose. I didn't like my legs. I didn't like my arm. There were things about me that I did not like, and those things spilled over into my life that I'll begin to, if I put on something, those issues, those voices in my head will say, look how you look, you know, and those are the things that cause those issues to become in my life until I learned to, and the process of it, because it's a process. And Angela, tell us why self-esteem is important to you.
I believe self-esteem is important because it's on the inside of you, and whatever is born on the inside reflects the outside. So if you tend to squash or try to hide or dampen what's actually physically wrong or emotionally wrong, it will somehow reflect on the outside of you. So it's so important for us to feel good about ourselves totally on the inside so that it can shine on the outside.
Oh, absolutely. You know, like sometime if during childhood, if that child has been abused physically, you know, when I was growing up, neither one of my parents are alive right now, so I can say this, so they might roll over tonight. They might roll over tonight. But when when they would punish me, I would used to get beat with an ironing cord. That was brutality. That was abuse. And I remember one time, because I lived in New York at this time, and you would get dressed for gym. You had to get dressed into your gym attire anytime you had PE. And I remember one time I had got a beating for something that I did. I can't remember. And he beat me with the ironing cord, my dad. Can you imagine a man beating you with an ironing cord? And it's not like, because that was really brutality. So those kind of things definitely had an effect on how you put up walls and put up defenses and how you refuse to allow things to happen in your life. So, Elaine, I want to ask you the same questions. Why is your self-esteem important to you?
My self-esteem is important, Dr. Reddish, because I want people to know who I really am. There are times to where that we keep things inside, bottled up inside, and don't know how to communicate to others. And so as I grow along, I wasn't always a communicator. You can raise your voice at me. My mom and dad used to raise their voice at me, not to be brutal, and I couldn't take it, and I would shut up. I'll clam up within myself.
You shut down?
I just shut down completely. And but as I grew through the years, the more I got out of myself. Matter of fact, my children, they really are my inspiration, honestly speaking. They really taught me to be me. Whoa.
Okay.
I told you it was that speaker right there behind me. I don't think your speaker likes
That's
me.
that speaker has self-esteem issues.
But anyway, Dr. Reddish, you're going to have to don't be afraid to speak what's inside in order because when it comes out, and if it doesn't come out right, due to the fact when it comes out, you wanted to make a point. You wanted to prove a point to others, where you came from. It's not always a bad thing.
No.
So.
No, well, I think everything has to do with, from our childhood. And like I had spoken with a young lady, and we're going to talk about this too, and she was behaving a certain kind of way because she said she was sexually abused when she was young. And because of that, it caused some outward manifestations of some things that she began to do that it wasn't her. It was just that she was acting out of the pain and the anger of the things that had happened to her that caused people to view her differently. So that is very important. As we talk about self-esteem, let's talk about how often do you fall victim to other people's opinion? Brandon.
Well, now when I was younger, I would fall victim because I wanted to fit in.
Is your mic on?
Maybe it goes in and out.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
I think when I was younger, I would fall victim to other people's opinion, trying to fit into certain people groups and get into things that I know that wasn't for me.
Okay.
As I'm walking in my walk with the Lord, I don't really have that issue because I know what God called me for, and I'm walking a straight path.
You better.
Growing up, I was trying to fit in with different crowds and dress a certain kind of way and whatever.
Because you're trying to fit in.
Fit in, yes, ma'am. So I think that's my opinion.
Okay, Sister Angela, what would the same question to you? How often do you fall victim to other people's opinion of you?
That's a good question. I would have to actually go back in order to answer that, and I would say,
Yes, of course.
back to when I was a child, and a lot of people do not know this story, but I actually did not think I was beautiful. I didn't think I was pretty. I didn't think I was attractive at all. And the reason being is that I always heard the phrase, "You look just like your dad. You look just like your daddy. Oh, your daddy spit you out. Oh my God." And so, to them it was a compliment, but I began to think that I looked like a man
Wow.
or a guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I never saw myself as beautiful or attractive. when I looked in the mirror, I saw a man or a guy
Wow.
because they always relayed me to my father. As I grew up, I learned, that they probably, they didn't mean anything by it.
Right.
And it wasn't their fault that I looked exactly, looked like a woman version of my father. But I learned to appreciate who I am.
Yeah.
And now it does that does not bother me. But I want to address something here. In the church setting, we all fall prey
To people's opinion.
to other people's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why our self-esteem really needs, that's where it becomes challenging. Because what others expect of you and what
Yes.
you see yourself as, it's a
Totally
level of,
different.
exactly. And we need to make sure that we allow people to know that they cannot treat us or say anything to us, because those same feelings, like you said, will come back and haunt you
Oh, sure.
if you allow them to in the present day. So you have to make sure that you say, no, you will not speak to me that way. Now I'm older and I have a voice. I realize that I have a voice. Then I didn't think I had a voice. So I can stop that.
I wanted
Put
to,
that stop.
like with Elaine was saying when she was younger, how if someone said, maybe not even your parents, but maybe was there any level of authority that spoke to you that caused you to shut down? Was there a level of fear or something of what was in you that caused you to shut down?
Well, what actually caused me to shut down was me and my siblings. We were close, but I felt like I was the special one. I mean, not the special one, the outsider.
Okay, I
we
get you.
we all came up in the same house, but it's just that when I do certain things, it's a racket. It's a big thing. You know what I'm saying? But my sisters and my brothers, they can do the same exact thing that I do, and it's nothing. I mean, it's fine with them. Or I would get chastised, and they wouldn't, but they did the same thing that I did.
Yeah, that's why like in sometime in families, what cause self-esteem issues too. Because I can talk about my family. Sometimes if there's favoritism toward a sibling, if a sibling, and this is going to get really deep now, I guess, because sometimes a sibling can be, let's say, a different color, a shade lighter. Then they're always going to get treated, they're going to be more beautiful, or they're going to get more attention, and they're going to get more, you know what I mean? They're just going to get everything, and the one who maybe others might consider as the black sheep of the family or the least likely to succeed, those children, because everything stemmed from childhood. Remember we were saying that early. All our self-esteem issues came from our childhood. So we have to begin to think, even at Christmas, in my household, I used to get a pair, if my parents considered me as being misbehaving, for Christmas, I know what I was going to get every Christmas.
Excuse me, everybody gonna have to talk up louder.
Okay. I knew what I was going to get every Christmas. I was going to get a pair of bedroom slippers. I don't have no bedroom slippers today. Just because I used to get a pair of bedroom slippers every Christmas and a bathrobe. So, yeah, because those are the kind of things becoming victim of other people's opinions. Now you're trying to measure up. Now you're going to forget who you are. Did you lose yourself trying to forget who you were, trying to please somebody else because they had another opinion of you? Yes, you can talk. It doesn't matter. Whichever one of you guys want to answer that.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I can't think of that one right now.
I can answer that.
Go ahead.
I definitely did. It was really a sibling rivalry thing going on with us, but that confidence, once your self-esteem is low, your self-confidence falls.
Oh, absolutely,
okay?
absolutely.
So my self-confidence was low, my self-esteem, all that was shot, because of the things that were said to me, and sometimes in the manner that it was said to me. And it would just, I mean, I would just cry at a drop of a dime. I was so soft-hearted, so easy. So then I became a people pleaser. I became a people pleaser because I wanted everyone to know.
You want everybody to like you.
Yeah, I wanted to say yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought that they would like me or better, or look at me differently if I would agree, or I would make sure that they're taken care of before I'm taken care of.
Yeah, because when you become people pleaser, you want everybody to like you, so you're gonna go out of your way to do things to make people like you. No one wants to not be accepted. Everyone want to be accepted in life. Even if you hear people say, well, I don't need nobody, that's not true. Because no man is an island. No man was never made to be alone. So we do need each other. But being a people pleaser, meaning that means you don't like yourself and you're doing everything you possibly can to get validation from other people. And that is definitely will deal with your self-esteem. So, you think about people. Let me see. I got most of the people who have everything, most of them have low self-esteem. Like our actresses and our singers that we also look up to, most of them have more issues than than Jet Magazine. And Jet Magazine is out of publication. They have more issues than Vogue Magazine. They have a lot of things going on with themselves, but because they have the money, you can dress it up. You can dress it up, and that's what caused us as a people to suffer with low self-esteem, because we're trying to, we might not want to say it, compare ourselves to where to look. You get what I mean? To look like them, because then, again, here we go with Brandon, we'll fit in. Yeah, we'll fit in. So let's do them. How much do you doubt yourself, or do you doubt yourself? Apostle said, just speak up a little louder.
When it's calling for me to walk into something, a higher calling, I'm steady doubting myself. It's the voices that I hear in my head that's telling me you're not going to add up. Like you telling me, like, Brandon, I want you to pray, and I'm like, oh, am I going to be good enough? And it's just going to be the voices in my head. So I think dealing with the voices, the negative voices in your head that telling you that you're not going to be enough when you not even tried it yet. You don't know what you can do until you try it. So true. I think it's not good to doubt, but I think I was dealing with that a little bit, doubting myself, to going to the next level, and what can come out of me if I just give it a shot.
Yeah. What about you? Do you doubt yourself, or have you ever? I got both of my hands up. Have you ever doubted yourself?
At some point I did, and at some point I still do. I think it's more when I'm challenged with something out of the norm, something that is that I'm not used to doing, or something new to me. I feel some doubt coming on, because of course I would have to rely on, as Brandon said, God in his spirit to carry me through that. So I feel, yes, I do have doubt when it comes to something new.
What about you, Elaine? Do you doubt yourself? Second guess your own thoughts?
I sure do. I doubt myself, especially when I'm playing in the church. She probably could attest that. I'm sorry.
He said, talk a little louder.
Okay. Well, anyway, Sister Dr. Brown can probably attest to that. When I go to certain churches, I usually feel kind of doubtful whether I'm going to play like a Mike London, or like I'm going to play like a Sean McLean. You know what I'm saying? But I had to realize,
That
who
you
I
you.
am. And I mean, and I have to, not they have to take it, but I have to, believe in myself.
Right.
And if I don't believe in myself, then I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to be about God's business. And I know God called me into the ministry as far as music is concerned. So I had to step up to the plate and do what Pam has to do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That is something, that comparison thing, trying to again, that's a people pleaser looking, they're looking to measure up. Can I measure up to where they are? And never thinking that maybe they need to measure up to where you are. Bec- Because now we begin to doubt ourselves, and when we doubt ourselves, we never put forth our best efforts. Because now every time you hear a voice behind us, you're not doing it. So you're trying harder to please. You're trying harder to perform, and definitely you don't. And the harder you try, the more the voices in your head. And then no matter if someone tells you, "Girl, you were off the chain today," you probably still go home and say, you know.
They probably just think they just do.
They ain't telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Yeah, so I think that if we second guess ourselves, sometimes we'll miss God's best. We can miss an opportunity to move forward with some things in life because we hear that voice, that bullying voice in the back of our heads, telling us we're not good enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not skinnier enough, and we have to learn to silence those voices. How do you silence those voices when they're speaking to you, Brandon?
Come up with positive and try to speak the word. Try to speak what I know God is telling me about myself, what God created me. Like when the devil tell me I'm not enough or I don't have it in me, I tell him I want to conquer. That's why it's good to read the Bible and remember the verse. You can have the word to get back to the.
But what about if I wasn't a Christian? How would you combat that? I'm not a Christian. And see, when you're saved, that's why I want you guys, when you're saved, you know what to do. But for someone that's listening to us tonight that having these challenges, they need to know some steps in which you've taken to get to where you are today. And just maybe get in the mirror. I would say get in the mirror and look at yourself and tell yourself, I love myself. I love
It was harder for me because
Uh-huh.
I was defeated.
You were what?
I was defeated.
You were defeated. You felt like you were.
I felt like I was like when I didn't have the confidence that I have now.
Right.
You know, I wasn't walking with my head up high. I didn't believe in myself. So like I'm only speaking right now because I was introduced to God and I know what God brought me from. You know, but when I was in the world, I was believing everything that the devil was bringing at me. You know, I was drinking whatever he came with me at. I was falling to it. So.
And those things, I think we all had that time. Did you always love you?
I guess I would say I always loved the inner me, but I did not always love the external me.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you, sister. And the reason why, because everything starts from the inside out. And this is how you live your life. It's from the inside out. So if you were having outside images and feelings of uncomfortableness, it's because something was going on the inside. Because if we can remember, we're always going to live our life from the inside out. Okay, so go ahead with that.
Well, I was referring to in the past.
Yeah, I know.
But since then, I have overcome. But can I back up just to your previous question that you did ask, Brandon?
Sure.
The way that I tune in, you asked him on a non-spiritual basis, as far as if you weren't a Christian. I would say focus in on someone that really made an impact in your life, someone that fed you positivity.
Good.
And for me, that was always my grandparents, and they're still today. My grandparents,
good.
I don't know why. Maybe God had them in my life to, push me, but they always had something positive to tell me. They always had some encouragement, and it was not just them, but it was a lot of older people in my life that pushed me, that encouraged me, that always. So I focused on those things that were said, more so on the voices in my head.
Well, that's great that you had someone to empower you. But what about if you had to empower yourself where there was not a positive voice around you to motivate you to continue? Who did you aspire to when there was not a voice nearby, like a grandmother or a sibling, to say, hey girl, you got it going on, you can do this. Who was around you at that time, Elaine?
Like I said previously, my children.
Your children are your inspiration.
Yes,
But
they
before
are.
you had your children, who then inspired you to continue to go forward?
My sisters.
Good.
But she's no longer here. We lost her a couple of years ago. So that really broke the link between us. But
Mm-hmm.
we're still trying to mend together and
Mhm.
to get through this because it's not easy to get over a death. No, ma'am. But life goes on, Dr. Reddish, and we have to pick up the pieces and do what we need to do to make things better for everyone. So I'm just so filled right now due to the fact because I wasn't always where I am. I had a basketball scholarship along with my sister Katrina McLean, who also played pro ball. But I got pregnant. Did I get rid of it? No. But it was a setback in my life. I didn't regret having that child because this child today is a producer of music today in Detroit, Michigan. So to God be the glory. So, but things didn't end there. I didn't have a college background like my sisters or my brothers. But like I said, my children was the one that got me a computer, and a laptop. And I started in over at the University of Phoenix since 2012. And I was there up until now. I got my associates, I got my bachelor's, I got my master's, and now I'm working on my doctorate to where I'll be finished next year. So don't say that you can't do it, because you can do it.
You got to believe in yourself. That's what self-love, believing in yourself. You know that you can conquer it. You know, when I was a kid growing up, and I had many challenges, and that's probably why people think that I probably carry myself maybe with an attitude. I don't know, whatever it is. I don't. It's just that I had to learn to survive. I had to learn to get through the hard times, and it made me be strong. It made me toughen up, and because life will make you. It can make you good. It'll have whatever type of effect on it that you allow it to have on you. So through coming, and getting in church, of course, that changed my life. But before then, I mean, Jesus help, Lord. But because I still was dealing with self-esteem issues, and everyone under the sound of my voice that's listening to us tonight out in cyberspace, they have self-esteem issues, and some of us would never talk about it. Brandon, as a man, tell us, what was your self-esteem issues?
Being that my father walked out on us
I don't hear you in the mic. Go into the mic. Thank you. Hold your mic to your mouth.
when my father walked out on us at a young age, not thinking that you are enough because you see all the other kids with their dads. You don't have nobody to tell you that they love you, you know what I mean? Then my mom, she's doing the best she can, but she's working all the time. So, you know what I mean? Not having that solid male support system can leave you with insecurities where you don't know, identify with other men. You don't know, because you're not seeing a father in the home. So I think that was a big thing for me dealing with self-esteem.
That was good because, like we said when we first began, that most men don't talk about their self-esteem issues, but just to be a man itself is a challenge. I wouldn't want to be a man for nothing in this world because your responsibilities are so great to measure up and to be the best that you can, especially for your family, and and of course society has always got a measure in which they want the man to meet up to. So that is very challenging. Now, this is what I'm going to talk about, guys. Are you very sensitive to criticism?
No. And it's probably surprising, but no. I'm not at all. Matter of fact, I love criticism. I want somebody to tell me where my downfalls are, or tell me what I can do to make things better for me.
Yeah.
If it's coming from a good place.
It's
Yes.
coming, as long as it's coming from a good
Yes.
place. Yes. Criticism, I think, especially. Okay, I heard it when I was a kid that you're never going to be anything. That was part of the criticism, and you're never going to do this, and you're never going to whatever the never were. I heard that as a kid, and then once my husband became a pastor. Now, he was a minister in New York, but once he became a pastor, now criticism is at a whole new high now. Now, criticism is at an all new high now, because when you take on that role now, you become everybody's eye to criticize, and to what you should be and what you should look like and what you should act like and how you should sound like. So during that time, I think at some point I became very sensitive to that criticism, even though I might not have lashed out like I wanted to. I might not have lashed out, but I still heard it, and I still left the church with it. And I can recall the night because I was driving around in my neighborhood, and I just kept hearing those voices of the negativity. You know, you don't talk right, and you don't. This is, and you don't do this, and you don't do that. Talking about it as a first lady, right? Now, I already have heard that stuff when I was a kid. Now I'm hearing it again. The replay button is being pressed. So I'm riding around in my neighborhood, and I'm really in my car, and I'm actually crying. I'm crying, I hate everybody. I hate church. I hate it. And that is the honest truth. I was beginning to hate coming even into the house of the Lord, because now you're trying to measure up. You're trying to fit the mold. And only you, if you're a first lady, would understand that. Where you're trying to fit the mold of what the people expectations of what they think that you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to act. So their criticism, at some point, I began to feel that criticism. So it just depends on, like, again, who's saying it and how much is being said. And I am very outspoken, but it was only the grace of God that helped me to maintain not to, get in this flesh. Get out that spirit quick. And but if we're going to talk about self-esteem issues, I just really want you to be very candid and share your life. My life is an open book. My life is for the glory of God. I'm going to let you know where my slips and my slides and where I'm missing it at. So just in case you are encountering the same things and experiences that I encountered, I want you to know you can get through them. And it doesn't mean that God is you any less. It doesn't mean that you're not still valuable. It doesn't mean that you still doesn't have worth. We're just all a work in progress. Just a work in progress. So let's ask you this question, since you guys are not sensitive to criticism. And then I'm going to say in some ways that is not true, but I'm going to let you go ahead and say what you want to say. Because everybody is sensitive to criticism. It just depends on who's saying it. And I could say that for men, because a man is very sensitive of his wife. If she criticizes him, he doesn't mind if anybody else do it but his wife. See, that's why I want you guys to be candid about your sensitivity to criticism, because we all are. Okay. Next question to my awesome panelists up here. How frequently do you compare yourself with others? Use your mic, please, babe.
Sure, I'm sorry. I just get so comfortable.
You comfort?
But anyway, oh, I lost my train of thought. Isn't that something?
That's right.
Um,
How frequently do you compare yourself with others?
I try not to compare myself with other people.
Let me see what kind of comment we got down here. Okay, go ahead, guys.
Because what I have, everybody have what they have, and I just don't want to have everything what everybody has. Now, what I'm trying to say is also, I had a head full of hair. Just gonna be right with it. I had a head full of hair. I had a head full of hair, and matter of fact, pretty black hair, all through my lifetime. I am 57 years old now. My dad, thank you, Dad. Dad has a bald spot on the top of his hair. Now, I'm not ashamed to talk about it, but I know I had to do something about that. So what I had to do, there goes my daughter again. She was my inspiration. I had to decide because I had one little cornrow, y'all, on the back of my hair, and with my different weaves, my different wigs, you know. So, but that wasn't enough because the hair is steady falling out. So what I had to do with it, I got it all cut off. This is a wig, y'all, but I wear my wigs. If y'all check me out on Facebook,
She be strutting,
You know,
guys.
blonde, you know, wigs, Afro wigs, pieces, or whatever. I mean, I'm not ashamed of myself. That's why I say I love myself, and I know where I came from. I mean, I wasn't able to do that, but now, I mean, I don't care what people say, you know. And if I decide that I want to wear blue hair tomorrow, you know, that's my blue hair. You know what I'm saying? No one else purchased that hair but me. You know, I mean, and I'm going to really do it, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to do me. And that's who I am. And I can't be no more than me. I'm sorry, doctor. Go ahead.
You know, I admire you, Elaine, and that's why I have you here tonight. It's because I would see you on Facebook with your bad self, with your fierce self, and you be just strutting it, and sometimes you'll be so bold to come out and not even put your hair on, your weave on. And she still will wear it, and she be decked out and saying, I'm going out for the day, and I'm gonna have a great day. I said, that took boldness. And I said, I know you couldn't have gotten there overnight.
No, ma'am.
There were some steps and stages for you through that.
Yes.
Because most women, you know, hair is our glory.
Amen.
And for a woman, we gotta make sure our hair's on fleek before we walk out the door, you know, but I love your boldness.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it. I'm gonna tell the truth.
You can.
You can do
I
anything
don't
you
want
put your
to. But I don't know if I can do that. You know, but see, didn't I tell you we're still overcoming some things? I hadn't gotten to that place yet where you are, that if I shaved all my hair off, would I come outside? I don't know, will I do that? You know, so I applaud you for the stage in which you are in right now. So I still got some growing up to do.
That's all right. I'll meet you on the way.
I just appreciate that so much, guys. Okay, our time is moving along. You just want to share anything you want to share? Because I do have more questions. But there's anything that
I have
anybody
a
wants to
question
share?
for you,
Absolutely.
Dr. Marion. Being that I know you said you had some things when you were younger that you did not like about yourself, and you started naming some physical things. And I just wanted to know if you were like me. Like, I mean, back then, you know, thin was not in. Tall was definitely not in. Like, all the girls, you know, it seemed like the taller girls, the boys didn't want the taller girls because they were too tall, you know. That was my thing. My challenge was I was so thin, I was thin, like real thin. No hips, no curve, no nothing. No need to put on no Daisy Dukes for what? But the tallness, because seemed like all the guys would pass me by and they'd go for the short girls or the medium-sized girls. So I just wanted to know, did you have that type challenge when you were?
Absolutely. I always was tall, and the little short guys used to like me. And I did not like short guys. This is the truth. And I would say, I don't want no little short guy because I'm going to do this to him. I did not like, I mean, I think short men are phenomenal. But for me, because I was 5'10". So, yeah. And in my younger age, I used to be called string bean. Now, I don't left from a string bean to a butter bean. So, so there has been.
You're lima bean, girl.
So the different stages in which your body goes through in life and learning to embrace each part of who you are, it's a journey, and it's again, I'm gonna use the word. It's a process of getting there. Still knowing I think where I'm at now, I could present a better me. Where I'm at right now, I could present a better me if I chose to do what is necessary to do that. You get what I mean? That's Jesus have mercy.
I wanted to put, if I have a second, this saying that when we used to say when we were children, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's the biggest lie. I don't know who made that up. Because words, I'm telling you, I know that my biggest challenge with self-esteem were the words that were spoken to me, the words that were spoken against me. And it stays there. It's like,
Yes, it does.
it is a form of abuse. Verbal abuse, it's there, it's etched. And someone may say, yes, the scars, they may heal, but the verbal, it just, sometimes it echoes. And it comes back, even comes back to try to haunt you. So you have to put a wall up. You must put a wall up.
Yeah, definitely putting the wall up. Like I said, the defense mechanism, and even that comes along with low self-esteem is rejection. As a child, that has a lot to do with your low. You're looking for love. That's why people look for love in the wrong places. The low self-esteem, the rejection of someone that you really want to accept you for who you are, and they seemingly not to accept you for who you are. So you find yourself places in relationships with people who will definitely abuse you even more than what you already have been abused previously. You get what I mean? Just keep adding and compounding those things upon, So, have you ever felt, you were talking about, yes, I think there was a time when I was feeling, I didn't like my arms and I didn't like my legs. One time, Boot, remember this? I'm talking about my husband. I call my husband Boot sometimes. I remember one time I told him, I said, I'm going to go get me a nose job. I said, because I don't like my nose. He says, well, I think your nose is cute. I said, but I don't like my nose. I want a skinny, I want a pointy nose. Because I didn't feel that I had looked attractive the way I was. So let me ask you this question. Do you feel unattractive? Have you ever felt unattractive at times?
I'll go with that. I recently have felt very unattractive. I would say back maybe 6 years ago here, I had an injury, and it caused a lot of health issues for me. And in the process, I had to go on medicine, and medicine changed my whole body. Like, it changed everything. So I can kind of relate to Pam here with the hair falling out. My hair fell out. I didn't know what's going on, but it was the medicine, a combination of medicine, as well as what my condition was. So I felt very unattractive. Were giving me steroids, which was causing my body to blow up, like it's the biggest I've ever been in my life. So I began to go from one stage to the next, feeling sorry for myself, not wanting to go out, not wanting to put on outfits because it would actually show my figure and how I did not like my figure at the time. So yes, that was a challenge. I've overcome that. I'm now embracing all of me. So I'm embracing. God allowed me to, my hair is growing back. I've started taking some vitamins to help myself. So, there's stages that we all go through in life. And I do believe that these stages come for a purpose. And I know it's for us to glorify Him and also to testify to others, to let them know that if He brought me through that, and you can love you with your bald head, you know what I'm saying? God, it's all us. It's all you. It's all me. Love all of me or love none of me.
Yeah, trying to actually not appreciating. Actually, appreciating what God has made, and we'll look at ourselves and say, God, I don't like the way you made me. I don't like the way I look. That's what we're saying to God. God, I don't think you did a great job because I want to look like, whoever. And I want to be you. The way you made me, God, you didn't know what you were doing, and that's actually what we're kind of smack God in His face, and tell Him that His handiwork, the creation of His hand, He didn't know what He was doing when He made us the way that He did, and when you get to the place to realize that God made you the way you are, because there's only certain kind of people you will be able to reach in life with who you are, and your trials that He allow you to go through, they are not for you. They are for other people that you will encounter in your lifetime to be able to set them on the right path and set them on the right course. So we have to each have a different experience. Each of us sitting here has had a different experience for the people in which you and I will come in contact to let them know you can overcome that. You can overcome it. But you think Brandon had? You think Brandon had any issues? Well, Brandon, we would like to. Brandon.
Mine was being in a bad relationship, going through my addiction period, and not feeling my self-worth, not feeling worthy. And
That's good. Talk about your self-worth.
yeah, gaining weight. So I had to really get myself together. I was almost 100 pounds overweight, and I've been working on myself, ever since I got.
Is Brandon throwing stones over here?
I put the work in.
That's what it requires, is putting the work in.
That's what it takes.
So yes, I did felt that about myself. So yeah, I can relate to that.
Oh, absolutely. I hear myself back there laughing. As always. Yeah, when we look at ourselves and how far we have come, and there are so many people out there in cyberspace that are listening to us tonight, or who perhaps will listen to this later, and you having self-esteem issues, I want you to know that you can overcome those issues. It might take you a time, moment by moment, day by day, but you can overcome them. And make sure that the people that are in your ear are not validating and condoning, and what is another word, amplifying those things that you feel, because you can say something to someone that say, man, I sure don't feel attracted to this. Say, honey, you sure don't look attractive. No, you know what I mean? So what they have done, now they amplified that feeling that you already feel. Now you more overwhelmed than you were when you first mentioned it to him. There's someone that can tell them, babe, you can get up from that. Don't worry, you can become better if you do like Brandon say, put in the work. And everybody need a positive voice in their ear. Everyone need a positive person that will speak into their lives to tell them, that whatever you're facing today is not the end. It is not the end. So let me see my last question I will ask you for tonight, guys. That are you happy?
But it took a while.
I like that smile, Brandon.
It did, but because I was basing my happiness on things that could be taken away from me, materialistic. And when I started digging inside and started seeing what really was going on with me, like dealing with my childhood, just dealing with things that was bothering me for so long. So I don't base my happiness no more on
Exterior That's good. That's good. So really what low self-esteem is, I kind of wrote this down, it's a distorted image of oneself. Having a distorted image of oneself, and the more you and I hear what God has said through us, and we begin to build up our self-esteem and feeling to love yourself and look at your face and say, oh, I'm so beautiful, and I love my smile, and like you said, work on yourself. I remember, guys, we're going to conclude in a few minutes. I remember that I went to the orthodontist because I had to have braces because I had an overbite. And I remember someone that I love told me that when I eat rice, that the rice was coming out. They said the rice is coming out. That rice is coming out while because I had the overbite. So I would have got the braces because I wanted to improve on. So you have to be willing to put the work in to do the improvement on any area of your life where you're not satisfied at, where you're feeling, because there is a better you in you, there's a new you in you, and if you can see that you can become more than what you are, I think that would really set us all on a new course of overcoming self-esteem issues. And especially in the church, because we can hide so much behind, I say we hide behind the cross and not being candid enough and that's why sometimes we can't get healed because we're not open enough to share where we are, and we like to press it down, like you want your money shaken together, pressed down, and you suppress all of those emotions and you suppress all those other things that's going on in your life. And then sometimes that's why we lash out and we so angry and we so mean against each other because of those things that's going on the inside of us. That's really what causing that, because we got to let those things surface and deal with them and not hide behind those issues. What is your closing thought before we conclude today, sir?
Oh, this was good.
I'm going to throw my mic at Brandon.
Know that we all need work. We have never arrived because even after we get to another level, it's still another level to get to. So it's like you said, until we lay in our casket, we work on ourselves.
I don't know how to
Closing
follow
remark.
that one. Well, I want to say in closing, I am blessed to be here on the stage as one of the first panelists, on Reinvent Her. And
Thank you, audience.
honor
Thank you,
to-
audience.
Yes, honor to my great friend, Dr. Marion Reddish and her Apostle Reddish. And I want to say in closing that I am happy with me. I'm happy with me not because of what I have, but I'm happy because of who I am and who's in me.
Oh, that's great.
And we have to also realize that God gives us things, and just as soon as He gives it to us, if we don't appreciate it, it can be taken away from us. As Brandon says, I have wonderful husband, children, grandchildren. Some people wish they did have what I have. So I'm happy.
Just hold your thought for a moment, Queen. Shannon says, people are afraid, listen to this, people are afraid of being judged in the church. That's why some people suppress, I'm going to say, their feelings and their emotions. Even though that is another segment, do you think the church, yeah, right, yeah, yes, and that's probably why, but I trust as we continue in our walk that we can become more candid and more open and more accepting of each other and our flaws and our mistakes and our slips and slides, because we look for perfection from others that we can't even give ourselves.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So yes, that is true. Okay, let's read one more before we conclude this tonight. Go ahead, Elaine, with sharing your thought as a concluding thought tonight. Yes, Sharon, I did find a tall husband, honey. Woo! I'll call you later to tell you about all of that.
Yes.
And your closing thoughts tonight, Elaine,
My
please.
closing thoughts. Well, Brandon and my friend, Miss Angie, has basically nipped it all in the bud. We can't come out of ourselves until we accept who we are and work at our imperfections. We aren't perfect human beings, so don't even look for it to be perfect. But if you want something, then you have to work for it. Nothing is given to you on a silver platter. So you're going to have to take what you want and go out and do what you need to do among yourself. Don't look for other people to do it for you because it's not going to come out right. So, after all that, I am me. And I love me.
All right.
And I'm happy.
Amen. And you know, this is critical. Love you enough to enjoy your company. When you love yourself enough and you're happy enough with yourself, you could be home all by yourself. You don't have to have a crowd around you because you love yourself enough to enjoy your own company.
Amen.
Without the TV, without the radio, you know, just being there, like you said, in your me time space, reflecting and meditating and looking and doing an inner search on yourself and how you can change and, you know, evolve into more, which is really critical. Well, my lovely people tonight, I know someone told me that they were unable to view this tonight. So we're going to find a way to open this up that more can see this Facebook Live tonight. I don't know, maybe is it because maybe they're not my friend? If that could be it?
That could be it.
Someone would have to share it.
Yeah. they would
Yeah,
have to
I hope
share.
you guys that are watching, I hope you click like and share. Please click like and share because we're bringing this to a conclusion tonight. Please click like and share. And by the grace of the good master, I hope to see you guys on next Friday night with another session of Reinvent Her Life live talk as we discuss situations going on about this is a subject I think is going to be really kind of intense about men and women praying in the church. The P-R-E-Y.
Okay.
The P-R-E-Y-I-N-G. And how that perhaps that you would not become a victim of someone prowling in the church looking for thirsty men and thirsty women. So we're going to be talking about that next week. So I'm going to admonish you to tune in because we're going